A warrior's farewell to the bed trunk of the olive tree after the death in the great hall. With a successful test of the bow, there were signs and visions and recognitions and a dream. It came to blows, and a queen's beauty for the beggar at the manor. A father and son, and how they came to Ithaca to find hospitality in the forest. Just one more strange island in a sea of perils and defeat. After a gathering of shades lies the grace of the witch, left coasts and Poseidon's son singing the songs of the heart. I recall gardens and firelight, that princess at the river, and a sweet nymph and the open sea. There was a red-haired king and his lady. That old lord of the west calls as a hero's son awakens. A goddess intervenes. I'm home. All right, is this thing on? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I zooming now? Oh, well, good. Well, I'm awake and it's 8 a.m., so that means it's time for Classics 101, the Odyssey. Again, for the last time. All right, class, let's begin. So, Muse. Tell me a tale of a complicated man who spent 10 years trying to get home to his wife and child. After a 10-year war he didn't want to fight. And when he finally arrives, it turns out our hero has serious anger management issues. It's sex and death and bloody revenge with one of the first historical Deus Ex Machina endings ever. That's the Odyssey, in a nutshell. But you know that, right? Yeah. It's an old story, one of the oldest. Speaking of old, I'm Professor Blume, by the way. That's spelled B-L-U-M-E, not O-O-M. This is an intro course, after all, but please, come on, people. Welcome to the university. You made it. The syllabus is online in the class portal. If you miss a reference, do an online search. That's what the interwebs are for. Now, you do have to actually attend my class. Well, virtually now, since the lockdown. Yes, you can turn your cameras off, but you do have to do the reading and write every time. That's the deal. Not difficult. It's just like thinking, but with more typing. Now, for each class, you will write and submit a one-page essay based on the daily discussion topic. PDFs only, no Word documents. There's no midterm, there will be no final. Attendance and your essays are all your grade. So, no more words, words, words. But I have a brief announcement to make. This is my last course, my last Odyssey, online or otherwise. I'm retiring. Some might say, well, it's about time. And it is. Well, about a lack of time left, so to speak. I recall when a lecturer meant to speak from a lectern in a lecture hall, an amphitheater, a secular church, a crowd of people staring up at you or down on you or both. But we were all there together in the room, alive, breathing the same air. But not now. Public speaking is the most frightening thing a human being can put himself, herself, themselves through, and that includes combat. But if you die up here, at least you can come back tomorrow. King Lear once remarked that his hand smelt of mortality. Not bad, Will. Now, if any of you get to be my age, which is only a decimation short of a century, then you'll know what a great line that is. But if you can still smell anything at all, well, you're freshmen, still immortal. But I'll let you in on a secret. It really smells like, well, have you ever had to change it? All right, let's get on with this. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe I will. Let's begin our last Odyssey together. So, the Odyssey by a guy we call Homer. No, not Simpson. He didn't have a last name. He was a poet or a rhapsode, a storyteller of ancient Greece, an old blind man we don't really know. He lived in the Iron Age and wrote about events that happened in the Bronze Age. You know, back when I was your age. The reading list was posted, so you have all finished reading the book, right? In any translation? Well, there are as many as there are registered students. You could each be reading a different one. I prefer the one I have, my copy of Robert Fitzgerald's translation, my first Odyssey. Now, my last. Chapter 1, also known as Alpha, corresponding to the first letter of the Greek alphabet. A goddess intervenes, Athena. She's a mighty force in this story. There she is. Yes, the one that came fully formed with a spear and helmet from the head of Zeus, that one. Pardon me if I digress, but then if you've ever taken my courses before, you know that's my thing. You know how the Trojan War started? Helen, yes, typical, blame a woman. Not her fault, actually. So there were these three goddesses of the Olympian variety and the golden apple, which was to be given to the fairest one of all. Read the prequel, right? The Iliad. 10 years of quagmire and stalemate, entrenched bloody warfare outside the city gates. The Trojan horse, Odysseus, his idea. And the city fell. War was over. The Greeks sacked it, burned it to the ground, salted the earth so that no crops would grow, packed up, went home. Some of them made it, but some took a long time. In the case of Odysseus, another decade. Athena intervenes by asking her father Zeus, king of the gods, to allow Odysseus to finally return home. Then she goes to visit his son Telemachus on his home island of Ithaca. He was a baby when his father left, so he's 20. Yes, he'll have to use a fake ID to get into bars like most of you. Well, not now. You're all in lockdown now, like me alone, speaking into the void. Okay, that got dark. Let's lighten the mood. Discuss. Compare and contrast Telemachus and Luke Skywalker's character arcs without mentioning Joseph Campbell once. Odysseus is on the hero's journey, but what is his son on? Why should we care about his story? Send your essays in to me, and remember, I won't be judging you, just grading you. Now, I'm going to get some more coffee. I couldn't do that before, so there are some compensation. That's it. You've got your assignment. Write